Hello, everybody. I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Voicenotes with Jordan Theresa. How is everybody doing today? I want to start making this note at the beginning of all of my episodes because I know that there are some new listeners here that all of my episodes, both on Spotify and on YouTube, are timestamped. So if you're someone who you're just here for the cultural commentary, you're just here for the pop culture of it all, feel free to skip over what I always intend to be a 5-minute life update, which ends up being a 20-minute multi-topic ramble. I know so many of you guys love it. I love doing it. I'm not going to stop, but I know that some people are here for the cultural commentary. So if you're one of those people, everything is timestamped. Spotify automatically timestamps everything, and I timestamp everything manually over on YouTube. But yes, how is everybody doing today? I'm actually recording this on a Friday. I was meant to, so my recording days for the podcast are Thursdays, but I ended up having to swap some things over. I filmed a main channel video yesterday, which was so long. I am always very apprehensive to complain about my job on the internet because you guys know this, I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. Look at this crazy girl. Sorry, if you're watching this, my cat is being crazy as usual, which we're going to get back onto, don't worry. I love my job. I love what I do. I love recording these podcast episodes. I love doing my little reels. The only thing which is it's the most tedious part of my job is filming main channel videos because they're scripted and it's so hard. And bear in mind, I was talking with my housemate about it and I literally said to him, I was like, how have I not gotten better at this? How has this not necessarily not gotten better at this? It was filming wise. I was like, how has this not gotten easier? How is it just as difficult as it used to be 5 years ago? And yeah, we were both just laughing about it. And so, I had to film it to a 10,000 word long script. And it took me 2.5 hours to film. So I reckon the video is probably going to come out to just over an hour. And it's about tattoos and tattoo culture and social media's impact on tattoos, Pinterest tattoos, reality TV tattoos. I'm so excited, especially because it's coming from the perspective of someone who I am tattooed, but the last tattoo I got was over 5 years ago, and I got all of my tattoos in the space of a couple of years. Obviously not going to give too many spoilers into the video, but that's what I did yesterday was I filmed that video, and then today I'm recording podcast episode. I'm going to film a reel again about la boo-boos, whatever the fuck those things are called. The way it's my favorite thing about being I hate saying content creator, but an influencer, is milking every viral moment for whatever it's worth. But how is everybody doing today? The weather's so remember how I said we were on a hot streak in the UK? It certainly hasn't turned sour, but it's going to turn sour this weekend. And you know what else is happening this weekend? First festival of the year! It's bank holiday weekend. When I found out that so many other countries don't do bank holidays, I want you to know that my heart breaks for you guys. My heart absolutely breaks for anyone that doesn't get bank holiday weekends because I would say I live for them. I can choose to work whenever I want. I understand that, but it's more my friends are all off. So I'm woo, let's hang out. But so this weekend it's basically the start of the summer, I would say. I'm going to gala tomorrow and it's supposed to piss it down all day. So I will say it's slightly sabotaged the outfit plans, but it's okay because I've ordered a raincoat. I have planned an outfit. I'm going to wear boots. Everything is going to be okay. And I'm just so excited. I am actually vibrating. Bear in mind, it's going to piss it down all day and I'm going to be all day outside. I am vibrating with excitement. I'm just so excited to see everyone. I'm so excited. The thing is, because it's the first festival of the year, everyone is so excited. Everyone is so excited. Everyone goes to the afters. I'm someone who, I go to the afters, but I used to be a bit of an afters monster, right? I used to stay at the afters till 8, 9 in the morning, which is insane looking back on it. Now I sort of tap out of the afters at about 3, which I feel is very appropriate. But tomorrow, I think I'm going to be at the afters till 8 a.m. And I'm sorry, that was really horrible. I'm literally just so excited. I'm so excited to dance to some techno music and be with the people that I love. And I'm excited to sit on a stranger's sofa till 7 in the morning chatting absolute shit. That's what I quite like about going to festivals as well, because they finish really early. They finish at around 10 or 11. The afters, it's you're not too... Sorry if you can hear that noise, that is my cat. You know, it's not like one of those things, like the afters feels good. It feels like another stage of the event. Like it doesn't feel like you're dragging it out. Sorry, that's probably really, really boring. But I just want to thank everybody for for the advice for my naughty cat. I know that it looks like she's acting up right now. I promise that this is her on her good behavior. I've got her some more toys. She's very stimulated. See, she's just playing with a bit of paper right now. What I will say, so the reason why I'm not letting her out right now is because she is just going to want to come back in and start meowing. Because she likes to be, guys, she likes to be around me. Like, it's literally so cute. But yes, she has been very stimulated. I've got her some toys. She's being good, but the only thing that I cannot get her out of the habit of is the 3 a.m. food wake up call. I know that a few of you guys left comments that there's automatic cat feeders for wet food, but the thought of like having to load, and again, I know I'm being a bit of a diva here, but the thought of like having to unload wet food into like that massive container like once a week and having to then like wash it out, and it feels really gross. Like I'm assuming it's like refrigerated or something. I don't know, like I haven't like looked into it, but I remember when God bless, when one of you guys left a comment about it, I was like, oh my God, that sounds disgusting. But I'm not going to let her out. See, okay, this is the difficult thing with talking about stuff like this, is that, you know, whether to let cats outside or not, there are like actual cultural differences from country to country. So in the UK, it's very run of the mill and normal to let your cat outside. Like I've spoken with multiple vets about it who say that it's absolutely fine. I'm not planning on doing it because I live on a busy road. But yeah, no, basically there is like a lot of cultural differences, because I know that a lot of people are leaving comments like you should never let a cat outside. But in the UK, it's just run of the mill, totally normal to let cats outside. Cats have been let outside in this country for years. I've had people with vets tell me I shouldn't do it. I've had people in my comments who are vets saying that I should, and it's absolutely fine. So basically I'm not letting her out for the sake of her own safety, the poor little thing. But I've got her lots of toys, and I'm planning on getting her one of those licky mats. I haven't gotten her a licky mat yet. I've gotten her one of those like treat things where it's like you hide the treats and she like goes digging for them. But yes, so you know what else has been really getting me in the mood for this weekend is there is some great British dance music going on Spotify at the moment, guys. So the 2 albums which I've been listening to nonstop are Pink Panthera's new album and Rose Gray's album. Guys, if I can do anything, it's putting you on to these 2 albums. Oh my God. They are so good. Like, I wish that Pink Panthera's songs were longer. Like, the fact that album is 18 minutes long is so criminal. But, like, I forgive her. See, the thing is, when I saw she was performing at Glastonbury before that album came out, I wasn't fussed. But, like, now I'm absolutely... If she doesn't clash with anyone that I, like, really, really want to see, I will absolutely be going to see her. And Rose Gray's album is really, really good as well. Again, it's just, like, great British dance music, like, and Pink Panther has sampled so many good people. She sampled Basement Jaxx, Stars in Their Eyes, Sugar Babes, who has sampled Underworld. Like, guys, like, it's a little too good. Like, this music is all too good. So if you want to get into the mood for the summer, listen to Pink Panther's new album and Rose Gray's album. Highly recommend. Sorry if I'm being a bit stiff. I've bloody done my neck in and I'm like, please, Lord, please do not let me do my neck in before the first festival of the year, please. So shall we do my thoughts of the week? Yes, I've been keeping track of these. So my thoughts of the week, starting of the 19th of May, 2025. The first one says, I would let the intuitive fridge raid guy hit. Okay, so I would like to rephrase that to be a little less vulgar. The intuitive fridge raid guy on TikTok, he's just got a little bit of a twinkle in his eye, hasn't he? Sorry, I feel like a pervert. You know what? Okay, let me rephrase that. The intuitive fridge raid guy on TikTok is very good looking, okay? I'm into it. And I think it's like, you know, it's like what he does, right? If you haven't heard of him, I am praying to the gods above that he never, ever sees this or listens to it. So if you are someone who you know this guy, do me a solid. Do not send this to him, okay? This is for the girls and the girls only, all right? I'm saying this between me and the privacy of about 20,000 of you guys. So I'm really hoping that none of you guys know him. I kind of want to cut this out, but also this is kind of funny. So what he does on TikTok, right, he's a chef. And what he does on TikTok is he just does these intuitive fridge raids where he goes through his own fridge and he just whips something up. Like that in itself is very attractive. Like just being able to whip up a very delicious dish. Like I cannot cook out of my fridge unless like I have pre-planned it and bought the ingredients, because there is truly nothing going on there, which also brought me onto the thought that maybe he should start a series where he intuitively fridge raids other people's fridges, because obviously his fridge is amazing because he's a chef. He should try, you know what, he would have hard fucking luck trying to intuitively fridge raid my fridge, I can tell you that for free. But I am obsessed with his TikToks. I'm obsessed with him. And then I must have been on, I don't know what was going on with me this week, but I also wrote, I would also let the All Things Butter guy hit. So this sent me down a bit of a wormhole, right? Because if you don't, again, the All Things Butter guy, he's the guy that goes, these are all things butter. And I can't lie, this guy is smoking with a capital S. You can tell that I haven't been dating for 3 weeks because all of a sudden I'm finding TikTok chefs hot. No, you know what? I think that chefs are hot. You know, and that's not me being influenced by the bear. That's me being influenced because I'm not going to say what restaurant it was, but I went to a restaurant which had like a very open window to the kitchen and I could see the restaurant, and all of the chefs there were so attractive. And all the waiters there were so attractive as well. Oh my God. So what this led me down. So basically when I was writing this list, I was like, let me check if the All Things Butter guy is like got a girlfriend or is married. Because number one, the fun thing about being single is that you can delusionally Google if a celebrity has a girlfriend. So I started Googling this guy, not only from a delusional level of maybe he wants me, but this man literally does not know I exist. But also on the other hand, I did not want to be like disrespectful. Like I didn't want to be disrespectful or like if he's engaged or something. Like, you know what I mean? Anyways, so I found out that he... Oh, wait, this is me Googling his age. You know why I was Googling his age? 1 second. So his name is Thomas Straker. I ended up going down a wormhole, you guys. So I Googled Thomas Straker girlfriend. That's what I Googled. Or has Thomas Straker got a girlfriend, right? 'Cause, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful on the pod. And I find, you're about to react by this, celebrity chefs Thomas Straker's wife has kicked him out of their marital home after learning of his relationship with Princess Maria Olympia of Greece, just days after the royal aristocratic's ex was spotted kissing Sophie Turner. What a love. What is that, Pentagon? Wow. Like, I was gagged. And basically, you know, I actually feel really, really sorry for this poor woman. Essentially, I'm pretty sure he might have cheated on her with this Princess Olympia woman. Yeah, and that was like, I felt like I just stumbled onto like some tea that I like was not supposed to find. I guess I don't really think of this guy as like a celebrity. Do you know what I mean? I think of him as the All Things Butter guy. I think of him as an influencer, but I guess he is a celebrity chef. I ended up finding a few articles where I was like, he's the bad boy of da 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 da. He is good looking. He is my type, I will say. But you know, he's dating Princess Olympia of Greece, do you know what I mean? So that is someone who I don't confidently think I could pull, I'm gonna be honest. But, well, what was my other thoughts of the week? I definitely have some others that are unrelated to hot TikTok chefs. Tottenham won the Europa League. Stop, you guys. Okay, first of all, is it the Europa League? I hope so. If not, I'm going to jump in with a correction because it's going to be really embarrassing if I got this wrong. So someone's like, what team do you support? I go Spurs, but like I literally never watch any games ever because they do always lose, so it is like really, really painful. But they won the Europa League and I didn't even watch the match, but like my stepdad and brother were so happy. First cup since 2008. Oh, buzzing for the lads. But anyway, so in today's episode, I wanted to do just a fun, chatty episode about propaganda I'm not falling for. If you've been on TikTok, you've probably seen this trend where it's mostly girls share essentially like propaganda they're not falling for. It's all in the name, right? So I've seen a lot of people talk about, you know, like the pill and climbing the corporate ladder as like propaganda they're not falling for. So I was planning on this episode of doing the personal list of propaganda I'm not falling for and then reacting to people's propaganda they're not falling for, but that would be such a long episode. So instead I if you guys want me to do that second part of going through other people's propaganda they're not falling for, please let me know, and I will do like a second part to this, because I'm either going to split this into two, or I'm just going to do the propaganda I'm not falling for, and then just leave it, babes. So yeah, this is going to be a very chilled, laid back episode. There are going to be hot takes, but all I've written is the list of propaganda I'm not falling for. I haven't really like actually fleshed any of this out at all, so this is going straight off the top of the dome. Thank you. So the first bit of propaganda I'm not falling for is the concept of a high value woman. Now, I see this rhetoric repeated a lot, sort of within, I guess it's sort of women's productivity content. There is a side of, TikTok and Instagram and YouTube of productivity content which is aimed at women. So in this sort of women's productivity, honestly, it's girl boss content. It's just not labeled as girl boss content because girl boss feminism is something which was very of the 2010s. It's something which is very criticized. And also I think something more than that is that people view the word girl boss as like very cringe now. I will say I only ever use the word girl boss in like a sarcastic, like ironic way. So instead, a lot of the productivity girlies are having to reframe, they can't call themselves girl boss anymore because that content doesn't perform well and people think it's cringe. So they basically got to fit the same rhetoric and the same guide, but under something different so people believe that it's new and it's fresh. And the unfortunate thing which has been born from that is the high value woman. So you know what? Let me actually quickly search up a TikTok and see what people say a high value woman is. So I've just found a TikTok. This has 8,000 likes, so it's not super, super viral or anything. And it says 8 signs you're a high value woman. You understand that the life is cool when nobody knows anything about you. You realize that your mental health matters more than any relationship. Fair enough. You learn that you never take advice from people who are not where you want to be in life. When you know that other person is lying, you smile and let it go. You never force anyone to choose you. Instead, people do whatever pleases them. You have to realize that you are not responsible for other people's happiness, like stuff like that, right? So I will say the advice itself isn't bad advice in my opinion. Like it's very like run of the mill life advice. A lot of like the high value woman stuff, they relate it a lot to work ethic, the way you treat yourself, essentially high value woman. I believe it's like thinking that you are high value, and it's like treating yourself as if you are high value, therefore not taking shit from anyone, not taking shit from friends, not taking shit from the men that you're dating, etc. I think that the intention there is good, right? Because the intention is to make, in essence, make women rate themselves more, don't let people disrespect you. You've got to respect yourself, all of this. When me and my friends see, someone that we know getting really messed over by a guy and they keep going back and this, that, and the other, the first thing you think is, God, don't they have any respect for themselves? Do you know what I mean? Like it's a natural thought process, I understand. But for me, I think the word itself, high value woman, is so icky, and I feel like you guys can tell it can teeter into conservative territory so quickly, of like people doing guides of what would make you a good woman. Like a high value woman, I feel like is just interchangeable with what makes you a good woman. And again, the existence of a high value woman implies the existence of a low value woman. And this is the thing, is that nobody ever says that, right? Because obviously it would go down like fucking lead balloon. But even if you do have a friend who, always takes shit from guys and, lets people walk all over her and, that doesn't think very highly of herself, all of this, that doesn't mean she's a low value woman. Like that's so mean. Like, and the thing is, I get that nobody is saying that, but sorry, when you're saying high value woman, you are implying the existence of a low value woman. And I think that no woman is a low value woman. Everybody is on their own journey to being the best version of themselves, and not even just being the best version of themselves. Because I think this idea of being the best version of yourself is so tied into like productivity and like being the best cog in this capitalist machine that you can be, but rather, you know, everyone is on their journey to be happy, and like everyone's on their journey to feel the most comfortable within themselves and within their skin. And I think this idea that if you don't do, you know, if you don't have let men respect you, or this idea that if you let people walk all over you that you're low value, it's just really icky. And I don't think that it factors in the nuances of life. It's difficult because at the end of the day, I don't know who this content is very popular with, but I know that this content is probably popular with very young women, right? I'm assuming that this content is probably very popular amongst teenagers. And I think the reason why this content is very popular amongst teenagers, if it is popular amongst teenagers, is because teenagers haven't really lived their lives yet. And that, you know, I think that this sort of stance of like, you need to do this, and that's what makes you a high value woman is a very black and white way of looking at life. And I think that what can happen is when you end up in a gray area of, you know, you're in a relationship where they're not treating you right, but you still find yourself going back. Or if you're in a friendship where this person is walking all over you, you can't seem to cut them off. I think that I can imagine that would lead a lot of people to feel really guilty and to feel like they aren't being a high value woman if they aren't like making these sort of steps. I think it can just make people feel a little isolated. This sort of very, you know, like black and white life advice, because it doesn't factor in the nuances and the gray areas of life. And there isn't me, you know, because when I say gray areas, I feel like sometimes I'm implying that like you should stay friends with people who treat you like shit, or you should stay with a partner that treats you like shit. Not at all, but it's more like we've all been there. We've all been in a relationship where the person hasn't treated us well. We have all gone back to partners who haven't treated us well. But that doesn't make us low value. That just makes us humans, like making, not even necessarily making mistakes, but taking paths that, you know, probably aren't in our best interest because we're learning. And I feel like just this whole hive, you know what it is? It's just so icky. It's icky. Like, I hate the phrase high value woman. Like, shut up. The next bit of propaganda I'm not falling for is QR code menus. On a different note, QR code menus. I hate QR code menus, especially when I went to a restaurant. It's like a pretty famous one. It's the one with like all of the bottles on the like sides. I went to like that famous restaurant in London. It was for my parents' birthday. And they had a QR code menu, but you couldn't even pay like on the QR code. You had to like then get the bill. And I just think like phones, as Catherine Shannon writes for her Substack, phones are so unsexy. Your phone is why you don't feel sexy, right? So when I go on a date, you know what I do when I go on a date, guys? I go, oh, sorry, 1 second. And I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And let me tell you, that goes triple platinum every single time. That goes triple platinum. And the thing is, I remember I dated this guy once and he had an Apple Watch and his phone was always, his Apple Watch was always lighting up with notifications. And it was literally like so like unsexy, unattractive, because like it just means that their mind is somewhere else, right? And there is something so unsexy about getting to a restaurant, because restaurant time to me is phone away time, right? So I like put my phone face down on the table. Like when you have to go and then get it out and then people are around you like on their phones, even if they are looking at the menu, I just don't like it. Like just don't like it. Get rid of QR code menus unless you're in like a restaurant that isn't like a super nice restaurant, or like not necessarily a super nice restaurant, but rather like a restaurant where it's like a sort of in and out jobby, then I understand it. But I hate QR code menus, and that is my truth. Also, you know what is propaganda? The idea of being cringe. Guys, when I learned about Cringe Mountain, I have never been the same. So if you haven't heard of Cringe Mountain, it's like this, like, I don't even know what it is. I literally just saw it on the internet. But it's this like concept that essentially to be cool, you have to climb Cringe Mountain. And the people who are, you know, shitting on you and yelling at you, going boo, boo, they're throwing tomatoes at you, they are never the cool ones at the top. They are always at the bottom, and they could never climb Cringe Mountain themselves. If you want to throw yourself into something you're passionate about, if you want to really put yourself out there, you have to be cringe first. You just have to be cringe first. I'm so sorry. And you know what? Like, the best advice that I can give is to just be cringe and put yourself out there. You know, I always think about where I would be if I didn't start making YouTube videos when I was 14. Like, what would I be doing? Like, what? And this is the thing, is that the biggest haters of people who are people who are cringe are people who are threatened of putting themselves out there. This one is going to be a controversial one. Debates about whether sex work is feminist. Let's focus on decriminalization first. So you know what? I'm actually not going to make a podcast episode about this. I am actually planning on writing an actual full essay about this. But something which I've seen really, you know, amongst all of these, you know, propaganda I'm not falling for, is like the idea that sex work is feminist, or like sex work is feminist, right? And I think that this is a debate which gets people really caught up in semantics, like in the meaning of words, because then it turns into what is feminist, what isn't feminist, and then everyone falls down these different branches of feminism, of radical feminism, liberal feminism, choice feminism, you know. And in essence, from the research that I've done on sex work, which if I have a book to recommend you guys on sex work, it is Revolting Prostitutes by Juno Mack and Molly Smith. It's fantastic. It's written by sex workers. It's so good. And I have found that these debates of whether sex work is feminist or not are not useful. I'm going to be so honest. I think there are definitely conversations to be had about sex work being glamorized on social media, and that a lot of young people, especially young women and girls, need to be warned that most people who start an OnlyFans, most women who start an OnlyFans, will not make the millions that we see on social media. Sex worker herself, her name is Ari Kaitsia, made a TikTok saying that I think it's only 1% of girls on OnlyFans make over $6,000 a month. So, you know, the chances are very much not in your favor. So I definitely think there's something to say about sex work being glamorized, OnlyFans being glamorized, and warning young women against that, and essentially just making it known that it's not easy money. Even the girls who do make the millions, they work very, very hard, and they have to pay a social price to their work. They probably, you know, they struggle in dating, they may struggle with family, they may not be able to get sort of a normal job ever again. Like, they do socially suffer. They get abused online by the same men who watch their content. You know, men always wank with their right hand and point with their left. But I think debates about whether sex work is feminist, I actually think distracts from what the real conversation should be, which is ways that we can actually help sex workers who exist now. Because I think all of us as women agree that in an ideal world, sex work would not exist, right? You know, porn wouldn't exist. Like, in an ideal, like, I'm not here, you know, trying to die on the hill that, you know, porn is great. I don't watch it myself. I think that porn has rotted men's brains inside and out. I think it has normalized violence against women in bed. I've had, you know, me and my friends have had multiple experiences where we've had our consent violated. We have had you know, acts done to us, violent acts done to us without asking. You know, every girl has had an experience of that nature, because violence against women is so normalized in the porn that men consume. But also, so in an ideal world, porn, sex work, etc., it would not exist at all. But for as long as poverty exists, sex work is going to exist. And I think that what we really need to focus on is how we can protect sex workers who are currently existing now. And one of those ways is through decriminalization. I see so many people, this is particularly a debate a few years ago of people saying that, you know, the minimum age to be in a porno, to be in, you know, a sex worker should be 21. But the thing is that all criminalization and legalization does is push women into more dangerous forms of sex work. So really, you know, again, Juno Mack and Molly Smith write about this in Revolting Prostitutes, but sex work should be decriminalized, because when it's not decriminalized, let's say a woman is a full service sex worker, she cannot go to the police if she is attacked, because what she was doing already was illegal. And that's just one example. It spreads like throughout, you know, sex workers, they need protection, they need unionization, decriminalization. And unfortunately, I think that, understandably, I think that a lot of people are swept up in the debate of whether it's feminist or not. And I totally understand. But that's not going to us debating whether this is feminist or not is not going to stop it from existing. And it's not going to stop, and it's not going to protect sex workers. We need to actually listen to sex workers, talk to sex workers, and start discussing ways to actually protect them and their livelihoods. If I had a nickel for every time I've been on a date with a man and he's called a woman that I'm ranting about a bitch, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. There is something about when a man says the word bitch that I'm like, oh, like it's like literally nails on a chalkboard. And it's like so funny when I've like said to men on dates where I'm like, oh, let's not call women bitches, because then they go, what? They don't like it's like I feminist so hard that like all of a sudden when a man calls a woman that I hate a bitch, I'm like, no. It's just like nails on a chalkboard, isn't it? It's such a vile, horrible like word, like for a man, when it comes out of a man's mouth, right? When it comes out of a man's mouth, it is literally like nails on a chalkboard. I have already spoken about this on my reels, but the quiet luxury fast fashion rebrands, Pretty Little Thing, HM Studio. So I made a reel about this, but I have spoken about on my channel about how fast fashion is failing across the board. At first you think, yay! You think, woo! Like, okay. Oh, guys, it's not good news. The whole reason why fast fashion, ASOS, Pretty Little Thing, H&M are failing is because Shein is swallowing the competition and they just can't meet Shein's demands. Shein's demands? They can't match up to the Shein competition, right? Shein posts up to 10,000 new styles on their site every single day. Every single day. Yeah. And it's all like done through an algorithm, and then basically they see what styles are more popular, and then they start like stocking and like essentially putting those products at like the front of their site and on like the first pages, etc. So essentially these fashion brands, they just cannot compete. So instead they're marketing themselves as middle ground fashion brands, similar to sort of House of CB and maybe Opoly. Guys, I used to be such a little Opoly babe back in the day. Like, what was it, like 4 years ago when I had like the bleach blonde hair? I used to love a little Opoly mini dress and I looked so cute. But anyways, they want to sort of market themselves as like these middle ground fashion brands when really nothing has changed. Like their materials haven't changed. The line of what's it called? The line of production hasn't changed. So don't let these fast fashion brands fool you by their price hikes and their like classy new rebrands. It's all still polyester. Platform Uggs. So the reason why, you know what it is? It's not platform Uggs specifically. It's shoes which were not platforms being made into platforms. And Uggs is just the first one that comes into my head. When I see a pair of those like platform Adidas Gazelles, like there's something about a platform shoe that was not originally platform. When someone sticks a platform on a very flat shoe, it just makes me feel sick. And it reminds me of, because first of all, like because the sole is supposed to be thin, seeing the sole like triple the size is just so disconcerting. Like it's so discombobulating. But also like I think why I get so like ugh, when I see platform Uggs and Sambas is that it reminds me of, guys, who remembers Creepers? Oh my God. So Creepers like shoes, I remember like, so you could buy them off, they were just very, very trendy when I was like 15. So 10 years ago. So in 2012 to 2014, Creepers were really, really trendy. I remember you could buy them like literally all colors, like different styles from Camden Market. Did I get mine from Camden Market? I think I got mine from Camden Market alongside my, I remember I got a Spirit hood from Camden Market. Oh my God. Do you guys remember Spirit hoods? The Spirit hoods, they were like these like hats where they would like go all the way down and they would have like little paws, so it would be like a scarf and a hat, and then you would have like the ears as well, and the little scarf would have like holes in it that you could put your hands in. It was actually like very cool. It was very, very indie, I will say. But yeah, me and my Creepers and my Spirit hood against the world. But I think that's why platform Uggs specifically trigger me a little bit, because I hate seeing platforms on shoes which are not supposed to be platform. The hatred of fine line and stick and poke tattoos. The reason why it's on my mind is because I wrote about this in my video essay about tattoos, which is going to come to you guys hopefully in less than a couple of weeks, because I filmed it yesterday, but I've got to get it all approved by a brand, etc., etc., etc. Which, by the way, I'm so excited. I'm working with Opera on that video. If you haven't heard of Opera, and this isn't an ad, by the way, the video is going to be an ad, the main channel video. It is like, I did not think a browser could be so good. It's so good. Like, guys, so it's like this browser where you can like group your tabs together. And you can like group your tabs together. When you play a video, it automatically pauses your music. You can like watch videos and have the video thing float whilst you're like typing on other things. You can split screen. Like, it's actually like, I did not know a browser could be so good. I can't lie. But anyway, sorry. So I've been writing this video about the hatred of stick and poke, like just tattooed culture in general. And I really hate like people's hatred of like, people call them Pinterest tattoos for like stick and poke and dainty tattoos, because guys, it feels a little bit like we're mocking women for having shared interests and liking popular things. I'm not going to get too into it because I speak about it in the video, which I'm sure you guys will all watch, hopefully. But yeah, like there's just something about it that feels really icky, where it's like, why is such a widely disliked tattoo style a tattoo style which so many women get? But also, I will say that another widely disliked tattoo style is like, you know, the clock with the time that your grandfather died on it, with a lion and roses. Like, do you know what I mean? That like hyper realistic tattoo style, bit of scripture in there as well, and you're not even religious. But to be fair, I'm saying this like barely any of my tattoos have meaning. But like, to be fair, I think like the Pinterest tattoo discourse is very much related to women's tattoos. But I'm gonna bite my tongue because I want you guys to watch the full video. Next one is, you know, I've been thinking so much about this idea of healing your inner child since uploading my trinkets video. And one of you guys pointed out that like this idea that has been sold to us, this scam that has been sold to us, that one of the only ways you can heal your inner child is via consumerism. There are like, and also it's like this co-option of therapy speak. Like, healing your inner child is total therapy speak. And it's just been like on my mind. Like, you know, I just can't get over the Jellycat market to adults now. Like, it's absolutely fascinating. I will say it's been a shorter episode, but the last probably, and I will say, I think typically these episodes are going to be this length moving forward, or rather it's going to be like a little mix and match moment. But the last the last propaganda I'm not falling for is Joe and the Juice. I still cannot get over the fact that I spent seven great British pounds on Joe and the Juice. And also my bestie Holly messaged me and told me that they've got really poor health ratings as well. What? No. I spent £7 on a juice from a restaurant, from like a juice, what's it called? A calf? A calf? I don't know. From a place that doesn't even have good health rating. Well, maybe, I don't know. I haven't actually backed that up yet, so don't hold me accountable. But sorry, that was such a short episode. It feels so weird doing such a short episode, such an off-the-cuff episode. Obviously, not every episode can be 50 minutes long, girls, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Voice Notes. It was really, really fun. Sorry, my brain is not working properly today. You can tell I'm really hungry. But it was really, really fun chatting. And give me a few episode ideas, guys. I've also got like an endless list, but keep going. And let me know if you want me to do reacting to other people's propaganda they're not falling for. I probably could have added it into this episode, but I didn't do the research for it. So here we are. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I'll see you next week for another one. Bye.